I was thinking just the other day about my journey along the entrepreneurship path. At 21 years of age, I was completely bankrupt, filed bankruptcy, living with my mom and dad. And, today I'm on my way to buy a $3 million house. And what matters is not where I'm at now. What matters is what's in between that. No different than what's in between the dash on your headstone is what you do with your life, the decisions that you make, the choices that you choose. And I remember choosing the choice of me, betting on myself, making sure that I knew that Warren Buffett's principle of investing in yourself is the very best investment you can make was going to pay off for me. And I remember starting down a path of just picking up a book and reading something different. You see, I'm a college dropout, and now I keynote for 15 minutes, and I get paid tens of thousands of dollars. But the point is a story and the journey that matters the most. And I remember not knowing exactly how to be successful, but I remember picking up a book called The Game of Life and How to Play It. And then reading that book and going, wow, my mind has been exposed. Once the brain and mind has been expanded, it cannot go back to its normal size. So I was at a level where I was opened and reading a different level of information that I had never heard before. So then I went on and picked up a second book, which was Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich. And I remember knowing in my gut now that the book wasn't called Work and Grow Rich. It was called Think and Grow Rich. And mind you, this was before the internet ever existed. And I would then pick up a third book, which was Esther Hicks, Ask and It Is Given. And I would go on to read about 700 books in a span of a decade because I believe that you can only grow to the level at which you understand. And at every level you go to, there's always going to be a new devil. And so if you are equipped mentally with the right information, you can get over the challenges and hurdles that comes with not only life, but being an entrepreneur. And I would go on in 18 months to level up my life completely. I'd make quite a bit of money, had the Rolex watch, drove the 650 BMW. At that time, it was $80,000. And I remember feeling like I had made it. And I wasn't even at the level I am at now. I actually wasn't, there was no social, so there was no personal brand for me. There was no district media press. There was no consulting. I wasn't getting paid 15, 20 grand for a 15-minute speech. This was just me leveling up my life down a very non-traditional path. And, I remember my dad telling me, never forget where you come from, because chances are you're headed right back there. And he's never seen a bird fly so high it can't come down. And I remember in those moments where I felt like I had arrived, how the crash was going to come. The loss of my business was going to happen. And that's what happened. I ended up having to pawn the Rolex watch and gave up the 650 BMW and back to the ground square zero, living with mom and dad. Now, this wasn't too long ago. I rode a wave of quite a long time of the small success that I thought was the success, the ultimate, I had arrived moment. And yeah, I would say my ego got the best of me, which always means edging God out. But today, in this moment of my life, after putting the time in, putting the grind in, I can look back and say that those moments where I had it, I lost it, I'm bankrupt, I'm flat broke, picked up my first book ever since out of high school. And knowing that those many moments essentially are the reason why I'm here today as a personal brand, over 180,000 followers collectively, which is not a lot in the grand scheme of things, but it's enough to go on my way to buy a $3 million house overlooking the ocean and to be partnered with Instagram and Meta and to impact and change people's lives all over the world on a daily basis. The moment when I picked up that book, that moment mattered. And I can confidently and proudly sit here today and say that my ego is completely in check and that I have been very fortunate to have developed such a great mindset, and the ability to communicate that has landed me on TV and in Forbes and Entrepreneur Magazine. I think there's so much power. My good buddy Les Brown, he said, Tiana, communicators change the world. You are a communicator. You're going to change the world. And I'm not nearly playing at a level that I know I can be. And I had to do a self-analysis this morning about that because I could do more. I could record more content. I can elevate the space in which I record this. I could really launch my podcast from solo to amazing guests, use my network, slingshot it. And I'm going to, because that's a commitment to myself. But I think self-analysis is important. It keeps you in a way either on track or lets you see where you're off track for where you are to where you want to go. And I think that's important because that's life. Life is about expansion. And one of the reasons why I always say that I have to progress, I have to always be in a progressive state, because we are never, ever standing still. We are either progressing or we are regressing, but we're never standing still. So if I sit back and go, oh, okay, I'm cool right now, well, I'm grateful for exactly where I'm at and for exactly what I have. In a way, if I have that mentality of I'll just stay where I'm at, it's only a matter of time before I'm back at square one, because you're never standing still. So if I can have any message for you in this video, it is to do a self-audit. Figure out where you're at and where you want to go. We're living in a world where Meta 3.0 is real, and the internet has made building something so simple. Not always easy, but simple. And go after what you want. Be fearless in your approach to life. Be grateful for exactly where you're at, even if you're uncomfortable. Even when you feel like you're lost and you have nothing, because times are hard right now for a lot of people, still be grateful that you have air in your lungs. Because I will tell you this, and Oprah said this, and I know it to be true. If you are grateful for what you have, you open up the universe to give you more to be grateful for. Something to think about.